Hi guys, welcome to the super tubular PowerPoint asking the age-old question, should the internet be regulated? Here's a gif of something to make this presentation more unique and personalised, but anywho, enough yapping, let's get cracking. I bet you're all sick of me and my humour by now. I'm so alone. Now for the actual information part of this thing. Regulated means both monitored and controlled, so if the government deemed it or felt it was necessary, they could censor, straight up remove something. Now, to be this has its pros and cons because it depends on the situation and where it is at the point of repressing free speech. For example, there was the scandal last month of Home Secretary Amber Rudd wanting the police and government to have a key to access the social media app WhatsApp to thwart future terrorist attacks like the one in London, in which the attacker apparently used the app to contact his associate minutes before it occurred. This prompted opposition politicians and civil liberties groups to say the demand was unrealistic and disproportionate. She is quoted as saying, "We need to make sure that organisations like WhatsApp, and there are plenty of others like that, don't provide a secret place for terrorists to communicate with each other." Social media is pretty much meant to be a place of confidentiality for you and your friends to share whatever's going on in each other's lives, and if the government is pretty much surveilling you, then that jeopardizes that and is intruding on a civilian's rights. On the other hand, terrorists can use the internet, aka terrorist websites and secure social media platforms like WhatsApp, to communicate and organize terrorist attacks. This is the point to those who believe the internet should be regulated because the internet gives them a stage to do this securely. Some sort of regulation may prevent this, something can be done, but I think the internet should still be free and mostly belonging to the people to make of it, and use it as they please as long as it doesn't harm any others, of course. Speaking of social media, it has become susceptible to online trolls, being those who viciously berate others online through social media and other websites, often in an overabundance. This has led to many cases of cyberbullying, bringing great emotional distress to many victims. Many asking social media sites like Twitter to regulate this to be lessened due to how viral it can be and how unfortunate the consequences can be to those who have suffered from this. Cases of suicide and mocking of someone's appearance to the harshest and most disrespectful of lengths. TV shows and movies even capitalising on the thought of the internet being controlled or it taking over, like Mr. Robot to a certain extent, The Matrix. An example of a theorist linked to the topic is the Frankfurt School, being that popular culture distracts you and stops you from protesting against the injustice of the world. They're basically against the internet, the media and modern society as a whole. They don't want the internet in general. An example of censorship is the British government to censor online videos of non-conventional sex acts. Some have said this is an invasion of privacy and freedom to use the internet how they please, and how it is none of the government's business what they look at, and if it's not harming anyone, why does it matter? While this may help stop children accessing these porn sites, some who watch it are already over the legal age of 16. Pulled from an article from The Guardian that says free speech campaigners led would move a prurient invasion into people's sexual lives. It should not be the business of the government to regulate what kinds of consensual adult sex can be viewed by adults, says Jodie Ginsberg, Chief Executive of Index on Censorship. There are elements of the internet that can lead to the suffering of others, things everyone finds unacceptable, but I do think it should still be a place anyone can express themselves, for example content creators on YouTube, and feel their social matters are kept private. So I feel it should be regulated on conditions that makes it obvious and right, but not for the government's benefit or to better themselves. The internet is still the people's creation who make it what it is. Even with trolls, they may be expressing their right to free speech, and that's good. It can sometimes go too far. I'm overall iffy on it. Yep. And seeing how we're near the end of the presentation, well, you may be wondering why my high prepubescent voice is the only one heard. Well, that's because, ladies and gentlemen, the other group member, being Aaron, was asleep while I wrote this. Still a lovely chap though. Hope you got some nice rest and still contributed heavily to the presentation overall. Just thought I'd vent that out a bit. But anywho, toodaloo and cheerio. Remember to tip your waitress on the way out. Off I pop. Wear your seatbelt. Here's a trendy and relevant thing to end the PowerPoint.